Order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for Monday, June 3rd. Let the record reflect it is 6:34. Roll call.
Trustee Denton, absent.
She advises that she wasn't going to be here tonight.
Trustee Steve.
Present.
Trustee House.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Present.
Trustee Holmes.
Present.
Trustee Henyard.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum, 5 members of the board, including myself. Department heads are here. If you stand for Pledge of Allegiance. If you would remain standing, I'll ask Deputy Chief Rush to lead us in prayer tonight. Chief Rush? Okay.
Good evening, and let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here today. We thank you for protecting our homes and our families while we're away. We ask that your Holy Spirit preside this evening in this room and guide us and take care of the business of Dolton. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
I would like to make a motion to move executive session up and go into executive session before we start this meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and seconded to go into closed section.
2C1,
2C1.
the Open Meetings Act.
What was that?
Personnel. Yeah.
For personnel matters. Roll call.
On the motion by Trustee Steve, second by Trustee Brown to move into executive session pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act related to personnel matters. Trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
No.
Okay,
4-1.
4 ayes, motion carries. We will go into executive session shortly for a short period of time to discuss personnel and another issue. So if you just stand by, we'll be out shortly. Madam Clerk, can you take the roll? I'd like to get a motion to go back in regular session.
Motion to go back regular session.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to go back in regular session. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Here. Yes.
Trustee House.
Here.
Trustee Brown.
Here.
Trustee Holmes.
Here.
Trustee Henyard.
Present.
We're back in regular session, 5 trustees and myself. Any general announcements?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Basically, mine is more of 3 questions, which is, I placed 3 items on the agenda. I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for being patient while we conduct our business. 3 questions, Mayor. I placed the 3 items on the agenda. What is our policy for placing things on the agenda?
The mayor approves the agenda.
No. The policy is any trustee, and any trustee that was sitting up here before the 3 came in can place anything on the agenda.
That's not what I recall.
It is, Mayor. I'm telling you. Mary Kay, is that not the policy of how we conduct the agenda items?
The practice of the trustees prior to the new board coming in was that any trustee could place any item on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. So I go back to my question, which is why was my items removed? If that's our practice, I placed 3 items on the agenda. You remove my 3 items per the mayor.
What was
So
those 3 items?
those 3 items was 1, reinstate Chief Collins. 2 was, what was it? Oh, update of the firehouse, thank you. And the last one was to promote 2 police officers. Those was my 3 agenda items. You took them off. And
I
then y'all
did.
reposted the agenda.
I did.
Okay, do you have a reason why you took my agenda items out?
We're not going to reinstate Chief Collins, former Chief Collins. We got his resignation. The majority of the board approves to accept his resignation.
They didn't come across the board.
I said the majority of the members of the board approved in the acceptance of his resignation. It did not have to come across the board to accept his resignation.
Okay, well, I wasn't included in that accept of resignation. I was not.
Well, there's
So,
plenty of things that other trustees weren't included in when you had the majority on the board also.
Mayor, if we all say we're
We're
gonna
not
work
gonna go
together,
back and
I know,
forth.
I'm just,
We're not gonna go back and
You making
forth.
statements. If
We
we're gonna work
accepted-
together, you're supposed to give it to the entire body up
You
here. That
wanted to
means
talk
all
about
6
working together.
trustees.
It's evident that you don't want to work with this new board that's sitting here.
Mayor, I work with
And-
anybody,
and
with anybody.
We accepted the resignation with 2 witnesses, and that's it.
Well, he was fired. He was not, he did not resign. He was fired.
Um,
So that's what we are.
Attorney Murphy, can you clarify this?
The chief resigned.
It was a forced resignation, and anybody that knows that people put 2 pieces of paper in front of you, and you have to choose which one. Either you're gonna quit or you're gonna resign.
That's
So
exactly what he did. He quit.
unfortunately, you forced him to resign. Nobody's gonna leave their job. He was making $90,000 and not have a job, a backup. No
the
one's gonna
chief-
do that.
The chief told us in his resignation meeting that he was not happy with the salary. I told him last year to discuss with the board members, an increase to increase his salary. He said he did, and it didn't happen. Also, the chief was actively looking for another job. He interviewed at other places for the chief's job. And one of those places was Oak Park PD, and we can verify that.
And Mayor, that's not true because you did not bring that up to the board to ask for a raise for Chief Collins. But what you did do was bring it up to myself and Trustee House. You asked us to increase his pay. That's it. So why would you
And he
ask
said
us
you
for-
wasn't in
hold on.
agreement.
No, I did not. Why
said
would
you
you
wasn't.
ask to increase his pay a month ago and then a month later now he's fired? He's terminated.
I
That doesn't
asked
make
him
sense,
to
Mayor.
ask you guys had the majority. I asked him, and Deputy Chief can verify this, I asked them both to check with the board to increase their salaries. And he said when he turned in his resignation, he said he asked and they said no.
Mayor, that's not true.
Mayor,
That's a false
Mayor,
statement.
I'm not gonna go back and forth. Okay, all right.
Okay, well, my question still stands for why my items weren't on there. Attorney Murphy, I even CC'd you on it as well, and no one responded to why my items was not on the agenda. So you said you felt you wanted to take it off because you're not reinstating Chief Collins.
Trustee.
So why the other two was not on
Trustee.
there? Why was
Trustee.
the other two not on there, Mayor?
Trustee, they're not on the agenda.
I
We're gonna
know
go
that. I
forward.
see
We're
that.
gonna go forward with
Okay,
today's
but
agenda.
I'm asking you that so
Yeah.
that I have clarity for
May-
next time when I have agenda
Okay.
item.
May I
I
be
have
recognized,
clarity.
Mayor?
Go ahead, trustee.
I want to say, the one thing about Station 2, all you had to do was call the fire department and ask what was going on in Station 2. It's been open, it's been worked on since Scott been back. So all this is pointless. All you have to do is ask the questions. 2, we just had a big meeting about what happened. We can't even disclose it to the public that she was just in. So don't act like that just didn't happen. That's what's frustrating. This just happened, and you gonna get up here and act like it was a forced resignation when you know what we just discussed. So let's move this village forward. Let's move this meeting
Okay,
forward.
trustee, I know you is a
Okay,
fan of the
here's the
mayor and you
thing.
want to sit here and help him. You don't have to help him. I'm talking to the mayor.
Here.
Trustee,
So he don't need your
Okay.
help. He can speak for himself.
trustee, we're moving forward.
But
Next
mayor,
thing on the
I was
agenda,
asking the
next thing
attorney
on
why
the
wasn't my
agenda,
items on the agenda.
next
So I'll
thing
have
on the
that
agenda
issue
is
later.
citizens address.
That's the
and-
problem. Y'all don't want nobody to talk.
Next thing on the agenda is citizens address, and we're gonna limit this, citizens address to the discussion of what's on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I have 2 questions concerning the agenda, and both of those are to Attorney Murphy and also Trustee House, if you could chime in on those 2 questions. I want to preface my question by saying I hope that all board members receive my congratulatory letter to them I sent just before their inauguration about a month ago. I also sent the same letter to all the department heads of our village employees. Unfortunately, the mayor refused me and the other trustees to make our outgoing statements to the public, as it is customarily done here in Dolton and other municipalities throughout the country. The censorship of the First Amendment must stop. I personally want this new board to succeed in reducing the debt and the deficit of our village and coming up with ideas to bring real revenues to this village and not on the back of we the taxpayers. I want to see this new board tackle the problem of paying out $6 million a year in debt service from the constant borrowing of monies to pay salaries, paying bills, and spending money that hasn't been budgeted. My question to Attorney Murphy, concerning another bond that this board would probably vote on again tonight, taking this village deeper in debt and increasing our debt service that I mentioned earlier. And I hope this board would give some laser focus on reducing the village's debt. The bond home wood disposal is offering the village a $1,400,000. Attorney Murphy, is it true the annual tax levy mentioned in the ordinance language, meaning that our taxes will be raised to pay the principal and interest back to Homewood Disposal for this bond? Is that so?
No, the levy will stay the same as last year because this replaces a bond levy that was made in prior years.
Okay, well, if you go to Section 9 of that write-up of that particular ordinance that we're passing tonight, if that's the case, why does it say Section 9, Security Tax Levy Bond Fund and Abatement? The bonds are a general obligation of the village, for which the full faith and credit of the village are irrevocably pledged and are payable from the levy of the taxes on all of the taxable property in the village without limitation as to rate or amount. Also, it says a tax sufficient to produce the sum of $1,525,000. So Trustee House, you could chime in also to answer that, or the attorney can continue, and I have a second question before my time runs out, Attorney Murphy.
You know,
You stand with that answer?
for-
Okay, I'll go to my second because I know the mayor will try to cut me off. On the second
3
one
minutes is
concerning,
gonna be up here in a
as
second.
as the second one, the TIF, on the question of the TIF, and I know a lot of people are confused about a TIF, but how can we retroact 2005 up until 2019, saying we got $50,000 in an administration fee? That money was taken out now. Trustee House, you said you would change the language on that ordinance because there's not any money going back into that TIF. That money was taken out of the TIF and spent. So that means that when they approve this particular ordinance on that TIF, the other taxing bodies will have to raise their taxes. The library, the school, and the other taxing bodies, Park District. So could someone explain to me, in this creative accounting that they're doing, and the Thornton Township, and I know a trustee stated that's cleaning up our books, When somebody tells you that we're cleaning up our books, you can't take what they say for gospel. So if someone could please answer that, how are we going to retroactively pay over $1 million back into a fund that we don't have the $1 million to, that was taken out of the TIF? Thank you.
Well, I can, did you want to-
For the sake of the people that want to speak, first of all, let me say, we're going to have some new rules here. If you're not a resident of Dolton, you're not going to be speaking here tonight. And secondly, if there's any disruption, that person will be removed, all persons will be removed. And thirdly, we're not answering any questions up here tonight, we're taking comments.
So you gonna answer the people? Wow.
Chief,
Wow.
you know what you gotta do. Go ahead, Ms. Stubbs, go ahead.
Let's go.
So my question is to
We're not answering any
Attorney
questions, we're commenting.
Murphy. You don't have to answer, but can I answer my question?
Yes, you make a comment, go ahead.
And this is also to the trustees, since you're getting ready to take a vote. Because I was at the last meeting, and I'll ask this question first. Maybe it's a little softer. You mentioned doing a Class 8 at the marathon. And I see, and you all said that you didn't want to do that you disagreed to do the marathon because of the loose cigarettes. And I see it on the agenda tonight for a vote. So I'm just reiterating and reminding you guys that what you said about the loose cigarettes and the marathon gas station. My other question, Mr. Muhammad asked the question about the TIF, because I wanted to know too, how can you go back 5 years to 2005, 14 years to 2005, and for the administrator to receive a 3% increase on the TIFs? How can you do that? And that question really is for Attorney Murphy, but he's not allowed to talk. Thank you.
Mayor, I don't think that's right. I think you should answer that question. That's why you put citizens address before we vote on things. You should answer their questions so they understand. Exactly, that's not right.
Sir, are you a resident of Dolton?
Yes, I am.
Okay, where do you live at?
14801 Chicago Road. I just moved into Mr. Stubbs' building.
What?
Okay.
Really?
Mayor,
That's petty.
This letter was sent by Chief Collins to the citizens of the village of Dolton. He says it has been an honor and a privilege to serve the community as the chief of police. He wants to thank the village officials for the opportunity to serve, because without that, the opportunity would not have been possible. He's great to have a chance to meet all of you all and to interact with all of you all and build relationships. Also, he wants you to please support the decisions that they make, regardless of good or bad, and just everything will be a positive effort towards greatness, and it might not get here right away, but it will get here, and that a resignation looks better on your resume than being fired.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And to the residents, hey, y'all to do this more often. I see it's to change the dynamics a little bit, but I'm going to start with Trash Tree Mountain. I've got an online petition. Go to Cheryl Hill's Facebook. All those trees that's over there in that lot, I call it Trash Tree Mountain. Y'all didn't ask for it. None of your trees took it. None of you all took your trees and put it there by original origin. By original origin,
Lucille,
that is not a dumping ground.
Citizens address is related to what's on the agenda, okay, right now.
You know what, it's not a dumping ground. I also need to let it be known
You can discuss
that
what you like.
all those yellow stickers that you're getting, if you deem that you don't need that kind of work done, please come in here and complain about those yellow stickers. I'm not, wait a minute, you impeding my people's
It's-
time.
it's-
You messing with my civil rights.
it's-
I'm not gonna give him his mic.
It's
I'm
what
not gonna
on
give
the
him.
agenda. It's what
On
on
the
the
agenda.
agenda. It's what's on the agenda.
Okay,
It's
I'm
citizens'
charging you.
address. Whatever you want to charge me with.
You can
Whatever
come
wanna
back at the
charge me
end.
with. Citizens' address at this time is what's related to what's on the agenda. You're going to be removed, Ms. Hill, if you don't calm down. Whatever. That's your right. Whatever you want to do. Go ahead, man.
Mike's
There's two citizens' addresses. One at the beginning related to the agenda items, and there's one after the meeting.
Okay, and that's fine. But still, this is a village. You are the mayor. This is not a monarchy. You cannot use
This
the
agenda-
police to
this-
intimidate
This agenda was voted
residents
on by the
speaking.
board. This agenda was voted on by the board.
I
To-
understand
In the
that.
past, we never had a citizen's address to address the items on the agenda. So that the board voted last time to put a citizen's address at the beginning of the meeting so you can discuss what's on the agenda and at the end of the meeting. So this citizen's address
Did you
is
vote on
for,
that? Did you guys vote on that?
this citizen's address is for what's on the agenda. You will be able to comment after the meeting on other items.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because it seems like it's going to be a monarchy
Well, it's,
instead of a democracy.
if you were at the last meeting, you would have, found out that that's why the second agenda has been put on the agenda. The second citizen's address has been put on the agenda.
Okay, I'll make sure that's so, because I know at prior citizens' addresses that we did not have to, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Well, basically, some of the citizens asked for it, so that's why they voted on it to put two citizens' address on.
Okay. But
Okay,
again,
yeah. Ma'am, are you
pertaining
gonna
to
address what's on the agenda?
Yes, the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay.
You're still going to give tax breaks to these businesses.
That's what the, depends on what the board votes on.
Well, I certainly hope the vote goes nay for these taxes, because everybody pays taxes. And I don't want that tax burden going on me.
Kiana Belcher. My question is related to an item on the agenda, 1317 East Sibley. That is the vacant property, correct?
We're not answering any questions.
Okay,
You can make a
well,
comment.
it's the vacant property next to the Taco Bell. Will we know what's going to be there before giving the Class 8?
I heard you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Mayor, what's the point of
so
them
glad
coming up if you're not gonna answer any questions? That don't make sense. The point of citizens' address so they can understand before we get to voting on the items.
Go ahead, Ms. Creighton.
Good evening, everyone. Let me say that I do have concerns, and I know that we had a COWS meeting with all the trustees here, but I'm asking the trustees this evening to really consider the Class 8s that they're going to hand or take a vote on this evening. I really, because a Class 8, can you explain that to me? Trustee Brown, are you familiar with that? Trustee Holmes?
We're just commenting.
Oh, we just comment, well,
Yes.
do I ask the attorney to clarify it?
He can clarify it later on.
Okay, thank you. Trustee, attorney?
No, when we get to that point on the agenda for each one,
fiddlesticks.
yes.
So, you can't clarify it?
Ms. Creighton,
Oh, I know.
each one of these will be discussed, and he can give you some clarification.
But would you cast a vote on it before you give the clarification?
Well,
No, you won't. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny. But I do want to understand the $1.4 million and also the authorizing the transferring of funds. See, because when I read the obligation bonds, obligation to who? Is not that obligation to repay that bond to the residents? Now, when I go to the school board, when they do that, that obligation is to the taxpayers. I just have a problem with that. We agreed on property taxes, and I'm just trying to understand ordinance 19007 and ordinance, the resolution for 19R0110. So I'm asking the trustees this evening to please consider what we were told in the COW meeting, that they wanted a gaming license, and the gaming has something to do with the pouring. It allows you to pour too. Is that correct or not correct?
That's not on the agenda tonight.
Wait a minute,
not on the agenda.
the Class 8s, right? That has nothing, two totally different things?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't understand. Let me say something. I appreciate the citizen's address on items on the agenda. But if you're not gonna give me a freaking answer for it, then why is it on the agenda?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense. And if you all are here to represent us, you would make sure that that was happening.
Come on, Ms. Craig.
Isn't that our conversation? Let's move us forward. Forward means being inclusive. Thank you.
This is a taxpayer's question, by me being a 28-year resident here in the village of Dolton. So if you're a taxpayer, you can understand this. And with the hope the board understand this here, because you guys are really new at what's going on. So you're gonna get caught up in it too. How much money is in the TIF?
No question.
Okay. I'm just saying this so you can at least hear it. Some people need to hear this. Even though it's not going to be answered, they do need to hear it, because some people have to talk for others. How much money is in the TIF? And how much money are you looking to take out of the TIF to go into general funds, where general funds has a chance to be misappropriated and mishandled? That's loose money with no check and balance to it. So that's just something to put on your head, new trustees, because we did get a bond about 3 years ago, $2.5 million bond that we supposed to have done something with, and that money went straight out. It was supposed to be still sitting on the shelf, and it ran out like water. Bonds is not going to get the village of Dolton out of the debt that we're supposed to be in. And you can't be in a position 6 years, Mayor, and steady talking about we broke. I've been paying taxes for 20 years. And there's a room full of other people here been paying taxes for many other years. I didn't hear that I didn't hear what you say, small mouth. What you say? What you say?
Watch the tape.
What?
Watch the tape.
Well, you've been here 6 years. You was a terrible trustee then anyway, and stepped into the mayor role. So we're gonna start that little signifying. Open the door. So that's what you're good for. Saying small remarks,
right?
Little psych, bad wording. When somebody asks a question, there's always got to be something small come out your mouth instead of standing up and answering the question. But I just say this to you, resident: everything is not a joke. Everything is not a joke. If you're a taxpayer, you really feel it. So when you be taking out bonds, that's money. More money is going to come out of your pocket. So individuals that's misappropriating them dollars, just want to let you know that some of us are still watching. We're going to still live here. And I just hope that you trustees understand that. It's just that important.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I am a resident of Dolton. I haven't been to a village meeting in umpteen number of years. I've been in village for 20 years. I own a house on Irvin. So the question I have has nothing to do with nothing at agenda. So I just like to know, how do we get information about what the citizens can do when they come to a village meeting? How can their voice be heard?
Can we just limit this to the agenda questions, because we have another citizens address that you can make your comments?
And when does that take place?
Right after this meeting.
And what time is that?
It depends on discussion here and the movement of the.
What's the purpose of us having a discussion now if you're not going to answer anything?
This is not discussion.
Okay, this is just an address.
This, according to what's on the agenda, ma'am.
Okay, no need to get hostile. I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question. I just want to know. Maybe there's some rules I can go to the website and read, some information that's sent out. I'm just asking how can I get the information on how to be informative when I come to the meeting. That's all I want to know. I'm a very educated young lady. So I just want to know so I can come in here and be educated and help educate the people that's sitting in this audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Because there's no reason for anybody to have to stand up here and ask a question and the question is not answered if they don't know. So there's no reason for them to get up here and talk until it's their turn to talk and be responded to.
You know how many meetings, board meetings, that they're only allowed to make comments?
Well,
Of
no,
all
sir,
these towns,
I
of all
don't.
these towns out here, do you know how many board meetings they come up, and some of them are 2 minutes, they make their comments, no questions are asked during
Okay, so if
citizens'
there's
address.
some rules,
So
that would be
what-
good. We
what-
just need rules. We'll follow them.
What has happened is, we've had question and answers
Mm-hmm.
back and forth, and wound up staying in some of these meetings to midnight.
Oh, and I most definitely won't do that.
We're gonna.
Okay, all right.
We're going to move these meetings forward, and we're not gonna hold people hostage here for great lengths of time during the evening when we can get on about our business and make the things happen that's supposed to happen here.
Okay, then well, maybe this is just a
Ma'am.
suggestion that
Ma'am.
maybe when you have citizens address, you only allow so many people to get up and so many minutes for that question to be asked and a response to be given. It don't have to go back and forth because that's just how it should be. There's no reason for the citizens to come if we can't get our voices
listen.
heard.
Thank you. Anybody else want to address the,
Well, if nobody else wants to address, I can keep talking.
That's not true. That's not true.
What's the point of
not
me
true.
being here?
She ain't even
Go
had 3
ahead.
minutes
That's not
yet.
true.
You had 2 minutes.
All I want is to know where can I find the rules at. That's all I'm asking for.
You just make 'em
You
up
don't
as
have
go.
any?
We'll have none.
Sir, did you want to talk?
Clerk, from the clerk, I
Yes,
can email
we
you?
can get them from the
Thank
clerk.
you.
I have a question for the new trustees. No, hold tight. Just give me a second. Are you happy with what you see going on?
Hey, sir, listen.
I
sir,
asked the trustees, sir. I have a question for you in a
sir,
moment.
would you-
I just want them
would
to
you-
think about it.
Would
Please,
you
Mr.
limit
Mayor.
this to the agenda,
Mr. Mayor,
please?
I can ask
So
that
we can
question.
move forward?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I just want to know if the new trustees are happy.
That's not on the agenda.
With what they see. I'm gonna get to that, sir. Let me make my statement, please. I just want to know if the new trustees are happy with what they're seeing. I like to know what the older trustees, the more seasoned trustees, are you happy with what you're seeing?
Nope.
And what is it that the mayor's doing right now that's illegal?
nothing.
I want to address that question
Sir,
to this
we're not
attorney.
gonna, sir.
So
sir,
later on, this is a question that he can answer. That's
Sir.
all. I want to address
Thank you.
that question
Thank
to the
you for your
attorney.
comment. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the village clerk's
One more
report.
person.
Good evening, just really quick. It just seems like there's a lot of concerns coming before the board, before your vote. I just ask that you consider what the residents have come up here and said, because truly, we're the ones who are going to be the collateral damage if anything goes south. That's all.
Next thing on the agenda is
Can I make-
village clerk report.
Can I make a brief statement? Okay. Just briefly, I've heard some concerns about, in particular on the financing, being the newly appointed finance chair. I would like to address those concerns. I will respect the agenda during citizens' address. I'll be happy to answer any questions. More than that, we did have some discussion at the COW meeting on these, and at any point in time, if there's a question, in particular on finances, please feel free to call me 708-625-1105. Call, text, email. I'm happy to discuss and share any information with any village resident at any time. Thank you. 708-625-1105.
Next thing on the agenda is village clerk report. Madam Clerk. Item A, approval of the minutes for May 6th regular board meeting, May 9th special board meeting, and May 20th meeting of the committee of the whole. Can I get a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion to approve minutes for May 6th, May 9th, and May 20th.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second to approve the minutes from May 6th, May 9th, and May 20th. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Motion passed.
It's easy.
Next thing is communications. Any communications?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this being summer coming on, we have another request from one of our regular local youth sports organizations for tag days this coming weekend. This is by Dolton Elite Basketball. Trustees should have this before you for 6/8 and 6/9 at the usual locations, Sibley Boulevard and Greenwood and Lincoln Avenue. And this again is from Dolton Elite Basketball for this following Saturday and Sunday. And I would ask for a motion to approve unless the board is comfortable with a consensus, which we've also done in the past.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the tag day for Dolton Elite?
Motion to approve tag day.
Second.
It's been motioned and second to approve the tag day for Dolton Elite Basketball. I think it's basketball.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Just a note that each of the organizations that comes before the board is given a copy of the rules for solicitation issued by the police department formally, and the police department does monitor those for compliance.
Okay.
So trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. Engineers report, Mr. Smith.
Thank you this evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, and residents from the Village of Dolton. Just a couple of items on my engineer's report. Last year in 2018, we applied for Cook County Black Grant funding to repave streets throughout the village. The village was a recipient of $200,000 to repave various roadways throughout the village, and we will be going out publicly bid for those sections of roadways next week. The village applied for 2 grants this year. One was Cook County Department of Homeland Security, and that was to provide security system for the water treatment facility and also for the pump station. The other grant that was applied for was through ComEd and the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, Powering Safe Communities Grant, and that was solar speed display signs, solar LED school and stop signs, and also portable traffic calming devices, which are speed bumps. That's all I have for my report this evening, and I will keep you updated on how we fare with the grants that we applied for this year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Committee reports, Finance, Trustee House.
Good evening, everybody. Just a brief announcement for the residents right now. Previous administration, we had monthly finance meetings, which were the 4th Wednesday of each month. We will be resuming those meetings, but the time will be slightly adjusted from 5 o'clock to 5:30. The meeting itself, the first meeting will be June 25th. Let me make sure. June 26th at 5:30. It will be the 4th Wednesday of each month, with the exception of November and December because of the holidays that'll run close to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Questions, please feel free to give a phone call or a text.
For the housing department, we're waiting on some information to come from our new housing clerk, Sherry, and then we'll be setting a date for our committee meeting for the housing department. So I will definitely let the citizens know when we have set that date once we get the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Police and Fire, Trustee Holmes.
To responding to the calls, the following activities were recorded. Traffic 254,
parking violation 249, criminal arrest 59, and 1 warrant. Happy to say there were no murders. And I'm also asking, let me let you know, during the month of May, the tactical team serviced at 1 warrant, 1 vehicle towed, 1 firearm recovered, stolen motor vehicle, felony charges approved for possession of a stolen motor vehicle, and 1 arrest for cannabis. I'm also asking that throughout this village of Dolton, block by block, if you have illegal activity on your block, don't let it go on. Please call. You can either call the police or you can call up here and ask for me. The only way we're going to have a safe summer, that's not only in Dolton, that's everywhere. If you see a home on your block with illegal activity, don't let it go on. Let's put the pressure on them, even if we have to move them out. I mean, you need a safe summer. You need somewhere to rest, somewhere to come outside, the children, grandparents. I said it over and over again. Don't let it go on. Don't let the grass grow like that. If it's there, let's put a stop to it. Whether it's drug activity, card cracking, human trafficking, you want your block safe, you pay them taxes, let's make it safe.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is corporate bills.
Public Works, Mayor.
I'm sorry, yeah. Public Works, go ahead, Trustee Steve.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? We had our first Public Works Committee meeting early this week. We talked about getting a possible garbage truck to help clean up the alleys. We talked about hiring some more Public Works workers to help clean up this village, but we really can't do nothing till the budget time comes around. We will be having monthly committee meetings. And the goal, of course, previous trustees could read the report, but I really don't want to do that. We want to improve Public Works. We want to improve the communications. The biggest thing that I found when I was campaigning is that I would call Public Works and nobody would get back with me. So we want to improve the communications if you need a tree trimmed, if you need something done. So that's the goal of me being over Public Works, and that's what I plan to do. So I hope everyone is signed up for the email blast who's here. That's the best way to get in contact as far as to stay up what's going on in the village, and also the social media Facebook page, so you can find out when the next committee meetings are. But I did have a committee meeting, and that's where we're going moving forward. Also, Melanie Fitness Pool has started. They started doing the plaster today, so that pool is in the process of getting fixed and getting done, and it will be open soon. Thank you. That's the end of my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Steve. Corporate bills, Trustee House.
I would like to see if we get a motion to approve corporate bill payments, register number $140 for payment, the amount of $733,171.86. Gross payroll for May 10th of $337,125.62. Gross payroll May 24th, $335,677.42. Melanie Fitness Center, register number 140, an amount of $25,491.23, with a gross payroll May 10th of $6,045.16, and gross payroll for May 10th, 24th of $5,906.98. Total corporate payments totaling $1,443,418.27. Ask for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve corporate bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
He's been motioned and seconded to approve the corporate bills as stated. Any discussion? No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing is old business. Item A, ordinance number 19-007, authorizing and providing for the issuance of its $1,400,000 general obligation bond series 2019 for the village of Dolton, Cook County, Illinois, for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal and interest on said bonds, and approving a tax escrow agreement for homeward disposal. Yeah, you want to explain this, John?
In past years, the village has issued a bond, borrowed money to pay all of its obligations to Homewood Disposal. This was done in past years, and this is being done this year, in effect to replace the bond levy from last year, so the net impact on the residents will be nothing. This will simply replace a similar bond that the prior board passed last year, and therefore the level of taxation will remain the same.
So what happened to the money that we need to take out, 1.4? Mayor?
It's used to pay Homewood Disposal.
No, I'm saying, why do we have to take out another bond currently for Homewood Disposal when we took one out a year ago? Why we have to take one out again now? Where did the money go over that year to pay them? Was we not
That
paying?
money went to pay Homewood Disposal. We were delinquent on the account.
Do you have the numbers, Mayor?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. You were on the board when it was presented and you approved it.
Mayor, I'm just asking questions.
I'm just
asking where did the money go?
I'm just
That we
answering
taking
them.
out another bond of 1.4.
I'm just
That's what I'm
answering
asking.
it.
That don't sound right.
You-
Seems like
you-
money is missing. That's what it seems like.
Mayor, if I can
Go ahead.
chime in. Trustee, every year, $1.4 million, well, for the last, I want to say at least as long as I've been on the board, the bond issue gets paid directly to Homewood Disposal. When our taxes come in, the taxes then pay off the bond. So we're back at zero, but we again accumulate more debt to Homewood Disposal. So until the time that we raise enough revenue or find another budget structure to pay it, we have issued a bond to make sure that our garbage continues to get picked up. And when our taxes come in next year, then that will go back to pay off the bond.
Okay.
I don't have a motion.
Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 19-007.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and seconded to approve ordinance number 19-007, the authorization and provision for the issuance of the $1,400,000 general obligation bond. Any discussion on this? No discussion. Roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda, item B, resolution 19-R-010, authorizing the transfer of funds to the general corporate fund from the TIF number 3 in deluxe fund and payment of administration fees for fiscal years 2005 through 2019.
Mayor, can I be recognized on this one?
One moment.
I'd rather table it. We got too many people. I'd rather table it till the next one.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, okay,
Okay. Mayor, if I could be recognized?
go ahead.
Okay, on this one, the wording that we discussed in committee of the whole to explain that this is a reimbursement and no transfer would happen has not been updated on the agenda. So my ask is that we table this until we can get the appropriate wording onto the next board meeting.
Second.
It's fine. Okay, it's been motion to table and seconded. Go ahead. Roll call, go ahead.
Well, Mayor, I want to table it till the next board meeting. At the next board meeting, if we get the wording corrected, then we will.
That's fine. Roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'd like to strike item C.
Which business is that one, Mayor?
Well,
1421 East Sibley.
No, what's the company? The big-
You know the company.
Can you, no, I don't. I'm just asking
Okay.
a question.
We're striking item C.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Go ahead, trustee Steve.
We put that on the agenda where we already discussed that we were going to vote it down. We're not going to vote to get a Class 8 to anything at 1421 East Sibley until that management out there is gone. but we put it on the agenda just to discuss it, show it, and just say, and then vote it down. I talked to the owner. Owner is not the tenant. He understands that he's not going to get a Class 8 or nothing there until that tenant is out. That's the goal of moving forward.
Okay, so we're striking that. Next thing on the agenda is item D, resolution number 19R-012, supporting proposed Class A classification for certain property within the village of Dolton at 1317 East Sibley Boulevard. Can I get a motion on that?
Well, Mayor, can I ask, can we group items D through I together in one vote?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, you want to get a motion to do that? You want to make the motion?
I don't want to.
Okay, Trustee Steve is in disagreement, so we'll go through them.
At least we can show, I got pictures of each property. We can show the residents the property that we want to give the Class 8 to.
Okay.
And so we can at least explain it and what's going to be there.
Okay. Item D, resolution number 19R-012, supporting a proposed Class A classification for certain property within the village of Dalton, 1317 East Sibley Boulevard. Can I get a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 19R-012.
Okay, is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, is there a motion and second to approve resolution 19R-012, 1317 East Sibley? Yeah. Ed, you controlling it?
Yeah, I'm controlling it.
Okay.
That's the property right there, 1317 East
Sibley
Boulevard.
It's right next door to
Taco Bell.
Right next door to Taco. Can I get the order, please? It's right next door to Taco Bell. It's a 1 acre partial. Previously, before the Taco Bell was there, it was a 2 acre partial. Taco Bell actually wanted 1.5 acres. We thought that, in fact, we could not have sold the half an acre, so they reduced their plans to 1 acre. This piece of property, there was tons of taxes owed on this property. We donated it to the land bank. The land bank cleared the property, the delinquent taxes on it, and we got an offer from Taco Bell to locate there. I think the lot sold for $300,000. $300,000. Land bank took a portion, and the village got a portion of the property. So right now we have a strong tenant. I won't say a tenant, but a strong. Yeah, it would be a tenant. End user that wants to come there. It's a name brand store, retailer. We're under kind of a gag order to not reveal who's coming there, but it's going to bring some strong retail sales tax to the village. Okay.
That's it on that one. So.
Okay, it's up for a vote now. Any discussion?
Attorney Murphy.
Yes.
So they're asking for a Class 8 for the vacant lot, correct?
Well, the Class 8 will apply to the property when it's built.
So we don't know what the tax break will be, correct?
We know on a percentage basis. I don't know what the actual market value of the property will be, but I've explained to the board what Class 8 does.
Right, so do you know how long for this Class 8 for this property?
They're waiting for the board to act and get the Class 8 before they close.
So are they asking for 5 years, 10 years? How
What,
many?
it's a county program, remember. So that all they ask for from the village is that we will support it.
So they didn't put in how long they want the
The
Class
county,
8 for?
the county program's for up to 12 years. That's the county's
So
program.
it's 12 years,
Yes.
okay, thank you, that's what I was asking for.
It's not necessary. It's going to be 12 years. It's up to 12 years.
Yeah,
we
up to
don't-
12 years.
It's up to 12
And
years.
then what's the percentage of the, you say it's, okay, so 12 years, and what's the breakdown of percentage?
Okay, this is, if I can, Mayor, it's okay if I
Go ahead.
explain this? If this, I sent the board a memo dated May 15th. This applies to all of the Class 8s. And if it's property that the village wants to maintain or encourage to redevelop, Class 8 is an important positive tool for the village. Right now, a commercial property, whether it's ones you're gonna see later on in the presentation, or this one when it's built, commercial properties pay taxes based on being assessed at 25% of market value. The Class 8 for that period of time would allow the property to be assessed at 10% of market value. Now, let me give everybody in the audience an explanation of why Class 8 is allowed in Thornton Township, not just for Dolton, but for other municipalities in the township. Our tax rate for you people in Dolton, for the citizens of Dolton, is very high. Now, why is it very high? Well, in part because there's no commercial development, and in part because of the real estate crash, because values are way down. Now, we're in competition. We're in competition with Indiana, and we're in competition with other communities who have lower tax rates. The example I gave to the board was, let's assume that a piece of property is built, whether it's there or on one of the other ones that the board's going to vote on, and let's say the market value of that property is $1 million, okay? The tax rate in Dolton, and it's not just for the village, it's for all the taxing bodies, the elementary, the high school, everything, is approximately 25%. So if a piece of property like this were improved with a fair market value of $1 million, the property tax bill for that property would be $175,000 a year. Very high. Now, let's assume the same building, the same construction, the same market value, except it's built in Orland Park. Remember when I said that the combined tax rate here in Dolton is 25%? In Orland, it's 9%. So that same property, if it was built in Orland Park, would have a property tax bill of $64,000 compared to $175,000, which means for developers, why should I build in Dolton? Why don't I just go to Orland? So we need, for the property that the village wants to keep, a means to compete. With the Class 8, the example that I gave, rather than paying $170,000 a year, the property would pay $70,000 a year. It's not quite as good as Orland Park, but at least we keep tax-paying commercial, non-residential property in Dolton. And all of the taxing bodies will get their money based on that assessment, which is a heck of a lot better than getting a much higher percentage of nothing, which is nothing.
Okay, Attorney Murphy, so what's going there? I know you say you have a gag order, but why don't the board know what's going there? You asking me to support a Class 8, and I don't even know what I'm supporting it for.
Because the end user prohibits it at this point. That's what happens in real estate development of this kind in difficult markets.
That the board don't know what's going there, but they want us to vote to give them the Class 8?
I can tell you it's a national company that does retail that will also produce sales tax.
All right.
All the other communities in the area, in the townships that allow Class 8, do this regularly. And it's in Rich Township, Bremen Township, as Thornton and Bloom. These incentives are adopted all the time for the reasons that I stated. Okay.
Okay, can you get a,
We have a motion, second.
yeah, there's a motion second, get a roll call.
On the motion to approve resolution number 19R-012 regarding Class 8 for 1317 East Sibley Boulevard, Trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Present.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
What we got? Wait, no, it's not 6.
4-1 and
4-1. Yeah. Okay, motion passed. Next thing on the agenda is resolution number 19R-013, supporting the proposed Class 8 classification for certain property within the Village of Dolton at 14753 Greenwood. Okay. This is, can I get a motion on this?
I make a motion to pass resolution number 19R-013.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second to support resolution number 19R-013. Supporting proposed Class A classification at 14753 Greenwood.
Yeah. This is, if you look to the right or to your left, that's the picture of 14753 Greenwood. And that's Water IT Systems. Now that red building behind it, that's newly built. So they're really built, and the next two are the same company. We'll show that as well. But this is a company that's growing in Dolton and constantly building and buying new properties. And the stuff that they're buying, nobody's in it. They're empty. So we're not receiving nothing from them right now. So this is a progressive company, and they've been doing a lot of good stuff in the village. So this is a company that we want to keep in the village.
This facility, this building here, had been vacant for over 10 years, and Water Treatment Systems, who was out of Gary, Indiana, came into town, and we this was given through the land bank also. They've completely rehabbed this facility. They started out with 4 employees. Right now they're up to about 50 employees, with the number of employees that live in the village of Dolton. They started out with 1 customer, that was CTA. Now they have over 40 customers, utility companies. And what they actually do is, there's been a law that has changed where before taking wastewater to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, there has to be a preliminary purification process. So they purify the waste water, and then it leaves there, then it goes to Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. Their expansion, like Trustee Steve said, has included the new construction of the red building in the back. And as we go forward, you can see what they want to do with other abandoned buildings that were back there as they continue to expand their business. They right now have moved their headquarters from Gary, Indiana, and Dolton is their home headquarters now. Okay, any discussion on this? Roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henry.
Present.
Okay, motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is item F, resolution number 19R-014, supporting the proposed Class A classification for certain property within the village of Dolton. This is another building that is vacant.
That's it right there.
That's not it.
That's the building right there.
No,
Is that it?
no.
1040 Maryland.
That one right there.
Yeah. This building here, we used to be Gulfport Packaging. It's been abandoned for probably at least 3 years. This facility is, in addition to the expansion of water treatment systems, this is actually going to contain, the front part of this building is going to contain their offices. The rear part of the building has been modified to transfer loads in addition to the primary building that they had. So the expansion that they're doing in taking in one of the Class 8 here is for the modification and expansion of this building. Can I get a motion on this?
I make a motion to pass resolution number 19R-014.
Second. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second to pass resolution 19R-014, supporting the proposed Class 8 classification for the building of 1040 Maryland. Any discussion? Roll call on it.
Yeah, we give away all these Class 8s. What does this do to the residents on their tax base?
Why don't you explain it to her again, John? Since she's not getting it.
It ain't funny. You not getting it. They gonna suffer. They gonna have to cover that fee. You'll see.
What's going to suffer is if we don't get somebody in these buildings,
you got
we're going to
7
continue.
Class 8s
We're
on
going
the
to
agenda.
continue to have
7.
vandalism,
You got 7 on the agenda,
That's what's
Mayor.
gonna
That's a lot.
happen. So you rather have these buildings vacant and empty and cause a liability, you have children to go in and play and get hurt in them, and have these buildings vandalized, and when we get ready to sell them, you can't sell them for anything.
Stop with
You
the
gotta
scare
give them away.
tactics, Mayor. That's a lot
May I-
of revenue
may I
we're
be
giving
recognized?
away.
Steve, go ahead, Trustee
And you're
Steve.
not telling the residents that they're gonna make up the difference.
They're not.
What's
These
gonna happen?
businesses are empty. They're not collecting nothing right now. So something's better than nothing.
Not always.
Only way.
It ain't always something better than another when the residents will have to pay for
Only
it.
way we
They
can-
gonna have to pay for it. They gonna see. That's what
Only way
y'all
we
not
can-
telling them.
Only way we can reduce taxes is if we bring businesses here. And we have to be business friendly. And this is part of being business friendly for the village. And this is part of also trying to be as transparent as possible about putting the pictures up so people know what it is. So these businesses are empty, period. So we need to get more tax revenue in here, and this is a way of doing it.
Okay.
These buildings-
If you think about it,
When
each
these,
property is at 12 years on a tax break. So if they had a taxes, say their taxes was $100,000, now they will pay, say, $20,000 for 12 years. When you want that same break on your house? Okay then, so
the
why would we
problem
sit here and
is-
give 7 companies a tax break at 12 years?
Trustee,
Come
the
on.
problem is,
Common sense.
the problem is when those buildings sit empty, there is no tax generation. Secondly, it's a harbor for rodents and animals,
Mayor.
and a playground for kids to go in to get hurt.
That's what
So
you're going
we
on
have,
for. You're gonna say that.
we have to occupy those buildings.
So, Mayor,
can I
you
be
didn't want to
recognized,
get
Mayor?
nobody Class 8 over, several months ago. Now, all of a sudden, 7 companies come
know
up
what?
and we give
Ma-
all
may I be
7
recognized,
a
Mayor?
Class
Hold
8.
on 1 minute,
That's not
Trustee.
right.
Trustee,
That's not right,
this
Mayor.
was discussed at the COW meeting. There
And I
was
told you how I
consensus.
felt about it then.
Then fine, we
still
know
not
how you
right.
feel about it. There's gonna be a vote taken on it, we're gonna fill those
And that's
buildings.
fine. Go right ahead.
May I be recognized?
Trustee.
It's easy to incite the residents to say, well, you want a tax break. This is business. This is business that we need. These buildings are empty. It's easy to throw that out there just to be an obstructionist. But we got to make tough decisions to move this village forward, and this is about it. If you're about moving the village forward, then this is what we're going to do. If you're not, then vote no.
And not only that,
see.
they've hired many of our Dolton residents that were unemployed. So, I mean, it's not just the expansion of the building, it's not the expansion of the building, it's the occupying it, it's providing employment also. Roll call.
Mayor, may I be recognized?
Go ahead, Trustee.
How long you say this property been empty?
This particular property had been empty over 3 years.
Okay, I think it's about time. You know, we've been saying over and over again, build Dolton, move forward, let the past be the past. Let's get this building moving, let's get this building up, let's get some tenants in there, and let's get some revenue coming into Dolton. That's just simple as that.
Thank you.
Not only that, we were maintaining the landscape around here. We had to cut the grass, cut all the weeds down and everything. This is going to actually take a cost that we've been experienced for the last 3 years to maintain this property. So, this vote, take a vote.
Thank you.
On the motion to approve the Class 8 for 1040 Maryland, resolution number 19R-014, Trustee Denton absent, Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Present.
Okay, motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is item G, resolution number 19R- Can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Resolution number 19R-015, supporting the proposed Class 8 classification for certain properties within the village of Dolton. Here's another abandoned building. This was also part of Gulf Packaging. Gulf Packaging had 21 locations. They filed for bankruptcy. This was the last location they were getting rid of. They had locations in other states, California and other states. This is a building that is included in water treatment systems expansion. And they're actually spending a lot of money to try to get this approved. So, anyway, can I get a motion on this?
Excuse me, Mayor, may I be recognized?
Sure.
Attorney Murphy, this question is for you.
Can we get a motion on this first, and then we'll discuss it? Go ahead.
I make a motion to pass resolution number 19R-015.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there a motion, second to dash, to approve resolution 19R-015, supporting the Class A classification for 1100 South Maryland. Go ahead, trustee.
This is for Attorney Murphy. With giving these properties a Class 8, will it be any taxes to the residents?
No, the only impact on the residents is a positive one.
Okay. Thank you.
Murphy, what happened to the taxes when we give a tax break? Where do the increase go?
Let me try to explain it again. These properties are going to pay significant property taxes. Those property taxes are going to the village, to the school districts, to everybody. The county approves the assessment change to promote economic development in areas that need help, such as Thornton Township, Bremen Township, Rich Township, and Bloom Township. It's designed to keep businesses here.
Right.
So
we
if
got
these
that.
businesses go down, then the residents will pay more taxes, the homeowners will pay more taxes. Keeping these businesses here, even at a reduced assessment, will help the homeowners by balancing your tax base.
Thank you.
Attorney Murphy.
One of the reasons,
somewhere, it don't just disappear. And when we wipe out $60,000, where do we go?
there is no taxes now because they're vacant.
I know that.
Okay,
But we
then, it's
voting
gonna
on
generate
vacant
taxes.
lands. I understand that.
One of the
That's why
reasons,
what's the rush?
one of the reasons that they decided to make this their home office is because of the vacant property that was there that would allow them to expand. So if they didn't have enough property to expand, they would probably look somewhere else to do their expansion. There was nothing in these buildings from the beginning. There was no taxes being received by the village. Now they're going to be occupied. Sure, it's going to be at a reduced tax rate, but we'll be getting taxes, property taxes from these buildings. And you can see how large they are. So the assessments that's going to be done on them is going to generate a substantial amount of property taxes.
Common sense.
Roll call.
On the motion to approve a Class 8 exemption for 1100 Maryland, 19R-015, trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Hendren.
Present.
Motion carries. Next thing on agenda, item H, resolution number 19R-016, supporting proposed Class 8 classification renewal for certain property within the village of Dolton at 114-130 Sibley Boulevard. Can I get a motion on this?
I make a motion to pass resolution number 19R-016.
Yeah. Okay, get a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been a motion to approve a supporting Class 8 classification for 114-130 East Sibley Boulevard. Any discussion on this?
Which piece?
That's it.
That's
It's
it.
a strip mall there. No discussion, roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Hendren.
Present.
Motion carries. Resolution, item I, resolution number 19R-017, supporting a proposed Class 8 classification for the certain property located in the village of Dolton at 132 East Sibley Boulevard. Can I get a motion on this?
I make a motion to pass resolution number 19R-017, and that's the old media center.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been motioned and second to approve a Class 8 classification at 132 East Sibley Boulevard. Any discussion on this? No discussion on this. Roll call.
Mayor, question.
Mayor.
That's the one they bought, was it 30,000?
Yes.
Mayor, could you discuss the, I mean, like you talking about the money they put into it already
Okay.
and where they're going?
This building this was our old media center. It has involved a complete makeover. It's going to be offices in there along with hand car wash and detailed car wash. There's been a new roof put on, built, new siding, frontage, windows, From what I was told by the occupants is that they've already spent close to $160,000 in that building for the modification and rehab of that building. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Denton is absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'm sorry, was that an aye?
Yes, it was.
The next thing on the agenda is acceptance of proposal by Municipal Funding Solutions LLC for the purchase of 6 2019 police Durango vehicles and 7 2019 Fiat 500 vehicles. Can I get a motion on this?
I motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay, it's been a motion and second to accept the proposal from Municipal Funding Solutions to obtain the police vehicles and vehicles for inspectors. Any discussion? Roll call.
Yes. Where did we say we was getting the money from for this?
Well, we're gonna budget for this. We're not gonna immediately get these. It'll probably be within the next couple of months or so. But we're in desperate need of police cars right now. So we have to figure out a way to make this happen. The agreement calls for one payment annually, I think it is, Chief? One payment annually. But we're in desperate need of police vehicles right now.
So you're saying we're gonna add it to the budget? Is that what you're telling
Sure
me?
we are, yes.
Okay, and then the 7 cars are going to, is it like, water
We go-
department
we go-
inspectors?
Yes,
Or like,
we're gonna downsize from those Crown Victorias that have, most of them over $100,000. It's costing us a lot of money. These vehicles, these vehicles that we're gonna use for those departments is gonna get us, anywhere between 30 and 40 miles a gallon.
okay, and then you stated, well, last meeting they said August to get the cars, so
It-
are we
it-
not getting the cars in August?
Well, we have to complete our budget way before August. And we're gonna try to get them before August, but,
Well, I'm in
Go ahead.
agreement with it as long as it's budget.
Mayor, can I be
'Cause I didn't know where
recognized?
you was getting the money from.
go ahead, trustee.
Okay, on this one, my support of this one, I looked at what we have been spending, and we're spending about $13,000 to $14,000 monthly on maintenance.
Right.
So as we look at the next year's budget, we will be reducing the maintenance monthly to compensate for the new cars.
Okay. No further discussion, roll call.
Trustee Denton absent. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
I am present.
Don't stop. Once is fine.
Okay. All right, motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is new business, item A, promotion of 2 officers to sergeant, acting Chief Mobley. We're not actually promoting them tonight, are we? No. Okay. But you're requesting? Yeah. Okay, right. All right. Right. You want to talk about this, or you want me to say something? You don't have to get up if you don't want to. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hit that mic.
All right, good evening, citizens. Okay, in January of 2019, the police department requested an additional sergeant to 2 that were approved at that prior date in order to curb overtime and expenses. That request was tabled and never approved. Due to the recent loss of another sergeant in the police department that has occurred, unnecessary overtime due to not having the additional supervisory personnel to fill positions. The fiscal impact from this, the maximum contractual salary of the patrol officers is $72,052.38 per year. The contractual salary of a sergeant is $86,360 per year, a difference of $14,307.62. To promote one patrol officer to the rank of sergeant does not have a significant fiscal impact to the village due to the recent vacancies of the sergeants. The police department is requesting to promote 2 officers to the rank of sergeant. The fiscal impact on promoting the 1 additional officer to the rank of sergeant is $14,307.62 per year. The additional sergeant is also to fill a vacancy. It is my recommendation that the board authorize to give promotion to the rank of sergeant effective June 17th at the next board meeting.
Okay, can we get a motion on this?
Motion to promote 2 officers to sergeant.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion to promote 2 officers to rank as sergeant at the next board meeting. Any discussion on that?
Yes. This was one of my agenda items that I placed on there, so I do have questions in regards to this. Who's up next? And are you getting the officers from the eligibility list?
Yes, they're coming off the list, trustee.
Okay, do you have their names? The next 2?
I know one will be on the next meeting. That's Detective Harris. He was next on the list.
Detective who?
Detective Harris.
Harris.
So he'll be coming from the detective division, dropping down to a field street supervisor. He's the next one on the list.
Okay, and do you have that list?
I have it.
Can you
I
get-
don't have it currently. It's in
Okay,
the-
can you
it's
email me a
posted.
copy of it?
Yes, I'll send it
All
to you
right,
tomorrow.
thank you.
Okay.
Right. I was just confirmed with the village attorney, that list, when's the eligibility expire on that list, Chief, do you know?
I believe it's next year.
Okay. The top 3 is eligible for promotion, so you don't necessarily have to go in that order, but the top 3 are eligible.
Right, the top 3 off the list, we've promoted 2 already, so this will be the 3rd of the top 3.
Okay.
Right, so you would go in order of the list, correct?
Well,
And
the
I
top
don't
3.
understand what the mayor trying to say.
You-
You go in order of whoever's next.
You do not
don't
have to
go
do,
from-
that's what I'm trying to tell you, you do not have
Okay,
to
well,
do
well,
that.
listen, let
The
me tell you
top
what
3,
I don't want.
the top 3,
don't
well, I'm
want-
trying to tell you, the top 3 are eligible. You do not necessarily have to go in that order. You can pick the 3rd one, you can
Right,
pick the
Mayor,
2nd
I
one.
did-
So you're talking about the order, you don't have to go in that order.
Okay, but that's not fair. You should go in order, so if
It's
somebody's
done,
next.
it's done in so many
somebody's
different
next,
departments.
They should have their duty. They should be able to be
Right,
next.
but trustee, to answer your question, the next person to be promoted is the next one in line on the list.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
We need a
Next
vote.
thing,
We need
yeah,
to vote.
yeah, go ahead, take over.
Just to clarify, I heard the motion first by trustee Holmes and second by trustee House. I know trustee Henyard also seconded. So on the motion to approve promotion of 2 officers to sergeant, trustee Denton being absent, trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. I'm just gonna mention a couple of things. As school ends, we have been going around to the schools giving ice cream away to all the students. We, this week concludes, is that right, Elizabeth? This week concludes going around to all the elementary schools. We would have passed out over 2,000 cups of ice cream to the students. We do this every year. It gives us an opportunity to go in and talk to the students, advise them to stay out of trouble, what to do if they get into trouble, also who to call if they need an emergency, have an emergency. So our police chief, some of the trustees, and our fire chief goes in, and along with our village clerk, goes in and pass out the ice cream, and we get a chance to talk to the students. Secondly, I would like to mention some of you were there, the renaming of Chicago Road to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive happened last week. We're one of the communities that have named a street after Dr. Martin Luther King. All the signs haven't been placed yet. Signs at Sibley and Chicago Road is going to be placed by the Department of Transportation. I'm just going to say that some people, along with our former chief, along with some former trustees, along with a current trustee, decided to do a press conference this week in regards to some people being terminated and the resignation of the chief that that was incorrect. The chief resigned, and it's unfortunate that he was not truthful about me forcing him to resign. That's why I had two witnesses in the room when he tendered his resignation. Over the 2 and a half weeks prior to the chief turning his resignation, he came in and he said, "Mayor, I got a personal question to ask you." Okay. He said, "Am I going to get terminated?" I said, "That hasn't been decided." And we discussed some things which I had discussed with him before, prior to him tendering his resignation, about the crime that was going on in the village. We had 5 to 6 officers retire and or resign within the last couple of years. Deputy Chief Mobley can verify this. I told him to hire at least 5 officers. The village attorney said we did not need authority of the board because they were replacement officers. They were already in the budget. It never happened. Our crime increased. And it's just one thing to talk a good game, but the crime stats did not reveal the same. So to orchestrate, and there's also some other serious issues that are in the coffers, and to orchestrate a press conference that was not truthful, and to try to bring discredit to this village, if you will. I gave him and them a little bit more credit than that. If you didn't feel that the footsteps were upon you, a man of that caliber, he wouldn't have tendered his resignation. But every time there's a crime here, and I get letters, and I get complaints, "Mayor, they're still shooting over here at my house," and I pass it off to the proper people who are supposed to take care of it, and it still continue to happen, we have to make a change. And that person knows whether or not they're getting the job done. So we're going to move this village forward, and there's going to be some casualties. And that's what happens. There's a price to pay. And when it comes on my table, it's going to go downhill to whoever's responsible for it. We need to start holding people accountable, because everybody expects to hold me accountable. And that's all I got to say. Citizens address, 3 minutes, please.
Mayor, that chief is not gonna get on national TV and lie on you like that. He's not.
If
Other people you let go is not.
Trustee,
they're not gonna do that.
it's
Nobody's
citizens
gonna jeopardize
address.
their integrity.
It's citizens
to do
address.
that. That man is a Marine. They represent
It's citizens
strictly
address.
integrity, Mayor.
It's citizens address.
So I'm just saying he's not gonna get on TV and do that, knowing it's gonna
I'm
be
just gonna say
investigated.
right
And then
now-
you study talking about crime. We had crime and he's
Trustee,
gone, right?
Trustee, you out of order right now. You out of order right now.
Church burned down.
You
Like,
out of,
come on,
you
tell the
out
rest
of order.
of us what it
You
really
out of
is.
order right now.
But you're not saying that.
Ms. Hicks, I'm just going to advise you right now, you're not going to be able to speak tonight. You are not going to speak. You're going to be removed from this village. You're going to be removed. You're going to be removed. You're going to be removed.
He does. That's why they did the press
Handle your
conference.
business, Chief. Handle your business, Chief. Handle your business.
Yep.
Remove him from the building. Remove her from the building. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so you say that you're going to start having people held responsible. So I definitely need you to hold the person responsible who's been billing my water bill. Because they let the last person leave that residence. They had a $2,678.16 bill and let them walk away paying $258 and left all of those other payments on me.
Will you remove her or arrest her?
Thank you.
Too far.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So who's responsible for taking the final payments for water bills when you're selling that property? Who takes the final payment for water bills for
The payment
residential
center takes the final
properties?
payment.
So that would be the water department?
Yes.
Okay. I already have a meeting set up, by the
Okay.
way, to
All right.
take care of that. But here in the village, we pay $5.61 for 750 gallons of water.
$5.71.
Yeah. In Chicago, they pay $3.81 for 1,000 gallons of water.
Okay.
So the water department definitely needs to be looked at. Ever since you laid eyes on me, I've been yelling about the water department. The water department, the water department, the water department. And then to come later and find out that we owe the city $8 million in water, but I paid my bill and someone else's bill, you know, and then I get my water turned off, but the city of Chicago hasn't turned off the water to the village, and it's $8 million owed.
But they did get a class judgment against us.
And not
So,
only
yeah.
that, but the person who was testing our water is incarcerated for falsifying results. So we don't even know if the water we're getting is safe to drink.
It's safe to drink now.
He's in jail for falsifying results, Steve.
That's
so
a past
I'm not
inspector
making it up. Yes.
that we
Philip
forced that
Cross.
prosecution.
Yes. So that water department needs, like, I don't know if you need an ad hoc committee or what you're going to need to do to find out what went wrong or what's going wrong, but it needs to be looked at.
We're making some changes there.
And then as far as the employment of the chief and other people that got let go, it's, you know, it's the same just when, you know, like Elizabeth and Ahmad and Steve got let go. Everybody has an opinion on who they would like work for the village, you know, if they were doing a good job or not. So I think people are just voicing their opinions about, you know, who they think were doing a good job and if they really wanted them to stay or not. So,
Ma'am, your time, 3 minutes is up.
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
I'm a long-term resident of Dolton, and I have a concern, and I don't know who to address this to. On May the 31st, at approximately about 7 o'clock p.m., which was Friday, we had a shooting on my block. Now, I'm concerned.
What block was that, ma'am?
The address of the shooting was 14341 Dante.
Okay.
Now, I'm concerned because I want to know if this individual was apprehended. And I don't know who to address this to, the chief
Okay.
of police or Andrew Young.
What? Andrew
Holmes,
Young.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. You know, if yeah, you can get with the deputy chief
Okay.
after the meeting.
After the
Yes.
meeting?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I surely will.
Okay. He can tell you the status of the investigation.
Good evening, Mayor and
Good evening,
residents.
Daniel.
Okay, first question. Is this going to be a normal thing to have a police officer here?
Well, let me tell you, people were sending out all kind of live Facebooks, what they're gonna do, da-da-da-da-da-da. For your security, the residents' security, we had the police officers come here tonight.
Oh, just tonight?
Well, it's not gonna be just tonight. If you know, if you come to meetings regularly,
Well,
there's always 1 or 2 police officers
Yeah,
here.
well, I know, but I mean
Yeah.
standing next to me.
Well, He's acting as a sergeant of arms.
Oh.
And that's exactly what happens and where he would stand during an assembly like this. He's not there to threaten you or anything.
But well, anyway, I've been with you since you started, and this is new to me.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Well, there's going to be some different changes.
Okay, now this is another question. Your citizen address at the beginning.
Yes.
I don't understand why you having citizen address at the beginning if you can't ask the question. A question is a discussion, and I can understand you saying you can only discuss what's on the agenda and stick to that and don't ask other questions. But my discussion to you may be in the form of a question, and then we have a dialogue.
Yeah, you see what time it is now?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand, but
so
to tell people they can't answer your question.
Yeah, but what's happening is that if you want to make a comment in regards to what's on the agenda, each one of these items is going to be discussed here.
No. I said my question as citizen address. A citizen is not gonna address everything that's on here.
Right.
Because I only have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the meeting of the cow.
Right.
Soak in what you told me. Come back and say, okay, now can you clarify this to me? And you're gonna tell me I can't ask you that. See, that's not. First of all, that's not right.
Well, you know, these meetings have gone so long. What I've done is taking a look at some of the other meetings from other mayors and other communities. They don't go back and forth with questions and answers. They make comments, the board discusses it, and they vote on it. Our meetings, we shouldn't even be here right now.
Well,
I mean, these meetings.
But Mayor,
Go ahead.
not to cut
Go
you
ahead.
off, we also had an executive session before this meeting.
That's right.
Yes.
And see, this was something that someone else did that someone complained about. They did an executive meeting before the meeting. See, to me, that should have been done prior to us getting here. That was an hour. That was an hour that we sat before you guys came back out. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
3-minute mark.
Yeah.
Okay. I reached my 3 minutes?
We're reaching it.
Oh, okay. My last question. Now, did I hear this correctly that for the police cars, that's going to be taken out of their budget? Are they
Well, it's
budgeted
going
for
to be
that?
added to the budget, to our overall budget.
It will be included in the police budget, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be included in the police budget once
Correct.
come out with the budget. Okay, cool. Thank you for my 3 minutes.
Not all of them,
Yeah.
because part of them is going to inspection.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. How you
Good
doing?
evening, Mayor,
Um,
trustees, and residents. All I want to say is we got to give these new trustees and give them a chance to change things. We cannot keep doing what we was doing when the other people were here. They were fighting, they were shutting everything down. Come on, y'all, don't let these people on the outside excite y'all. This is our village. So we got to give him a chance. Mr. House, that's what he does for a living. He's into finance. So he's the perfect person to be in that position. So you guys, don't let all this excitement, you know, you got all these ex-trustees talking up here. Hey, just say, hey, I served my purpose. It's time to move along. We need to support our trustees on this board. We need to stop. You guys got to really have your third eye going. And I'm saying, keep the same energy. I've never seen this many people in these meetings. Now everybody here now. Where was everybody when they sold all those houses? Where was everybody at then? And before the mayor got here, this village was all messed up. From Shaw, from Lewis. So, you know, it ain't gonna happen overnight.
Order, please.
And
Mr. Mike, no outbursting. Thank you.
And if you don't give the mayor to make a change and do things, how are we gonna be successful? I'm for what's right. I'm not gonna rally behind somebody that I know is not right. But I'm seeing stuff, people that don't even live in the village trying to talk up here. You're not a part of our village. You ain't got nothing to say. You don't pay no taxes in our village. Give these guys a chance to make a change. We vote, you disrespecting our vote if you don't give them a chance. You gotta give them a chance to make a change. Don't keep this all these arguing back and forth. We did enough of that 4 years. We've been doing that all along. It got so bad that I stopped coming in meetings. I just watched on my couch so I could cuss at the TV and all that. So come on, give them a chance, and we're going to hold them accountable. And what I say to these new trustees, stay connected to the people that put you in. Don't just get up there and forget about us. And I have not been seeing, Steve, you've been all around. I've been seeing, I know all of y'all going to do it. But give them a chance before you knock them down. Be fair, y'all. Give them a chance. Don't dog them out and they just start. Please. Give him a chance. Look, remember all that stuff they shut down from the mayor? He couldn't do nothing. Took all his people away, his staff. What type of junk is that? Was you all up in here saying
She's
this
at
is
2
wrong?
minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm bye. Come on, let's support our board that we got up here, our trustees.
I agree with the previous speaker, but as a former trustee, I'm also a resident of Dolton, and every resident has the right to speak. That's what I meant by First Amendment. I support every trustee as long as they are about principle, and we should give them a chance. My question is this. There was a public works meeting this past Thursday I watched on television, and they discussed, which wasn't brought out tonight, and they agreed to bring the $75 fee, your turn-on fee, to $125. And I understand that's to generate revenue, which is fine, but we have over $2 million in water that's due to the village of Dolton. I'd like to know what the progress is, and of course we can't ask questions, so this is a rhetorical question. I'd like to know what the status is of collecting that over $2 million from those persons that owe the village of Dolton. Have we followed up in getting a collection agency, at least to go after the money that's owed to the village? Because according to Kasperick, and you all can verify this, if that money is if anything is happening to collect that. Also, Mayor Riley Rogers, you mentioned at the last meeting when it was asked by one of the residents, what was the bill due on the Homewood disposal, and you said $2 million. That's what you said, and it's recorded. I'd like to know the status of that because we're taking out another bond with the Homewood disposal, but yet you're saying we get delinquent. And I believe with the warrant list that was passed, I think there was a huge bill that we paid to Homewood for this month, last month, and the month before was a 6-digit payment that we paid to Homewood. So I would like to know what the status is of the Homewood disposal. Of course, it's a rhetorical question. Lastly, and I got about 30 more seconds, to Trustee House, I appreciate you wanting to give out your number, but any information that we give is public. This is called a public meeting. So we shouldn't have to call an individual to get public information that's due to all of us. And I'd like to know, Attorney Murphy, where is it in the Public Meetings Act that you cannot ask questions of an elected official? I've been here, like I said, for 20 plus years, and all that I know is that you can ask a trustee or a mayor or a clerk or an attorney a question, and they should be able to answer you. Thank you. My 2 minutes is up.
My name is Beth. I'm a resident of Dolton for 20 years. I have 3 basic things to say. First of all, I want to thank the trustees that ran for trustee, and they won in their election, and they're hopeful to bring the village forward. And I think that we should begin to support them, and we should stop having some of this strife that some of you brought in here. You brought division, you brought strife, you brought problems in here when they're working to make things better. And that's kind of a problem. The other problem I have is I was out of town last week. I went out of town with my adult son on a trip. And while I was on my trip, I got information on my news feed of my phone, and it said that people had gone to the media and they had made discussion with the media. And I didn't even understand. I read the 3 topics and I said, I'll wait till the meeting on Monday and I'm going to get a better answer about those things on Monday, because I know the mayor would stand up for the topics. And I said, this is really upsetting. I don't understand this. I said, I don't think it will help me to call the Chicago Tribune, but I wanted to go to the news desk of the Chicago Tribune. I wanted to defend Dolton. I said, this is bad. But I was on a trip, so I said, I'll leave it alone. And I have a 3rd topic. This is a bad one. On my block, on April 5, 2018, some people came on our block and they shot on our street. No one got shot. And the people of that house said, oh, that just happened. Okay. Now, April 20, 2019, some people came again and they shot forward. They didn't shoot anybody, but it's very upsetting. Very, very upsetting. They think that it just happened. Now, yesterday, somebody from that house was arrested. They came with the fire truck, they came with the ambulance and the police car to get the young man. I don't know what's happening there. I forgive them. I'm a Christian. I forgive them, but I don't know what's happening. I could not go outside yesterday to sit outside in the sunshine on a beautiful day after we had rain all May.
Ma'am, your 3 minutes
And
is up.
so I'm really appreciative that the police came and dealt with whatever was going on over there.
Thanks, Beth.
It's a good job.
Good evening. I'm new to this. I've been in Dolton for less than 2 years. On my block, every time it rains, get a lot of water. Behind my garage, there is a sewer hole that sticks up about 6 inches. So when I pull my car out, I can damage up under it. So I can't do it. I've been trying, I called.
Are you in Avalon?
No, I'm on Blackstone.
Okay.
The alley back
100
there.
block.
Pardon me?
100 block.
144.
Okay.
And in the alley, there's nothing but water. So when you pull out of the garage, you can't see the sewer hole, so you can hit something. So, and not only that, for like from the last street, Blackstone, all the way down to Woodline, everybody got a curve by our block, the 144th Street block. So I've been calling Public Works, no answer.
That's not going to happen right now.
I know, we had this discussion before.
Right.
But I'm just bringing awareness. Maybe they could come put some asphalt or something around that sewer hole.
That alley has deteriorated.
Yes.
And with the grooves, I know what you're talking about now. With the traffic that goes through there, it's kind of kicked that gravel out and has caused the sewer top to protrude.
And it's
the only way to correct it is to actually raise the sewer top and then try to fill the alley in. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's already raised. You probably just need to fill it in. I don't understand what that means.
It's the only reason it's raised is because all the gravel and everything has been displaced from the traffic going through it. So we have to raise it higher and then fill those trenches in, those marks in the alley where the gravel had been dispersed. But I'll send Matt over there and take a look and see what we can do to remedy it.
As well as in the front, because when it rains in the front, I have no sidewalk. I have water.
Right.
You know, from the corner all the way down to my house.
Yeah.
So I'm just concerned because I said make some noise.
Right.
Come to see.
Okay.
I don't, to get on the internet. No, I'm going to come make some noise. I just
Okay.
want to know how long it's going to take. Could somebody come out and just inspect it and let me know?
Okay.
Because calling on the phone,
Right.
you don't get no answer. So if I got to come again next month, I'm going to come again next month until somebody at least knocks on my door and say we looked at it.
You're going to start getting answers on that phone too. Okay.
Okay.
Matt, go out there and take a look at that tomorrow.
You got it.
Thank you.
And without a doubt, I'm staying under my 3 minutes. I was wondering about the house, I think it's at 142nd and Lincoln, right off the curve. Now it's got a dome at the end, there's the garage, it's been completely caved in. And I was wondering, now I've been out here a long time, I rarely see that house with any stickers put on it. I mean, go back 3 years, they cited him and took his dogs from him, I believe.
142nd and Lincoln.
Right.
Is
So
it
my
on
thing is,
142nd or on?
well,
is it
I'm
on
just
Lincoln?
curious, and I mean, y'all don't have to use y'all time to answer me, so I don't mess with other people's time. I'm curious, why doesn't, I don't ever see yellow stickers on his house. I mean, he's got overgrown trees, he got fenced.
Which house is it?
It's right there on the corner, on that curve. And my thing is, that dome now, it's actually getting ready to it's getting ready to take over that alley. When it falls, it's gonna block that alley.
Lincoln and Irving?
Yeah, I think, yeah, because, No, it's the White House. That dilapidated White House right on the corner. As soon as you hit the curve on Lincoln. but it's got a dome, and the dome then gave in. So when the wall grid in that's next to that dome, it's gonna cover that whole
All
little
right, we'll
alley.
look at it tomorrow.
And I was wondering about our sewers, you know, the ones that's got the slants in them. You know what, I've been seeing a lot of them, they just block, and when I say they block, they so full that no water goes down. Two of them are over here on Irvin, then you got one that's down at 143rd and Irvin. And when I say the streets, the streets cleaner come, once upon a time out here, street cleaners used to come, and then they would get out and take a little steel stick
Yeah.
and stick
Well,
it down there.
Since we had all this rain and a lot of the flooding, Public Works has been out with the vacuum truck and cleaning those sewers out.
Yeah, 'cause you
So-
got three of them right here on Granite. When I say they so clogged that you literally can see the dirt at the top. So I guess that's that vacuum thing that you always use. Now the light that's over here on Grant going down Greenwood, is that Commonwealth Edison, or do that fall on the village? 'Cause that light's out there, and the thing about it, that light actually, it brightens up that whole spot almost.
We're on Greenwood.
Right there at 144th. But that light,
The
when it,
wooden poles are ComEd's, and the steel poles are ours. We have, a lot of those lights on Greenwood go out very frequently.
Right.
ComEd has repaired them, and we have also repaired some of their lights.
yes, it is.
So-
When they do, they so bright. That's how bright they are, that they almost light up that whole lot. But
But
both
we,
of them have gone
we've
out.
asked to increase the lighting in some of those areas. We went from 125 watt to 400 watt in some of the areas that we had some crime in. So,
Well, no, the bright lights, believe me, they working right there. They lit up that whole spot. And if I may, one of the trustees wasn't here and one is out tonight. I said this on the 30th. Two of our trustees are the youngest trustees we've ever had. And I just really need for all of you all to know, I believe in all of you new
Ma'am, we have
trustees.
reached the 3-minute mark. Thank you.
Thank you. But whatever you do, y'all just keep doing the right thing. I appreciate it.
Denise, I'm sorry, but we're not going to allow you to speak tonight.
I just wanted to ask one question. Do you mind?
You're a former employee.
Right, I worked here
We're-
6.5 years. You
Yeah.
allowed Elizabeth and Matt
Yeah.
to talk,
You-
and they don't live
And
here.
Edward.
I'm just asking for one question. Can I ask that question?
You can ask the question. I'm not sure it's
Okay.
going to get answered.
It may not. I want to ask it and put it out there. I want to know if I'm going to get paid for my sick time, as these people got when they left here. Because I know they got paid, and I want to know. It may be private, but this is an open forum, and
But-
I'm asking.
And we're not
it's
going to
about
discuss
me.
any personnel matters in this forum.
You always discuss personnel matters.
We do not.
You do. Your
Okay.
group of
Oh,
people
whatever,
got up
man.
here and talked about.
right.
Everybody know I'm terminated.
I'm gonna-
You had told everybody that
No,
way
you told
before.
that on TV. I didn't tell it.
You told it way before. I
Okay.
got it.
All right. I'm not going to just go into this with you, okay?
Well, you should refer
I'm going to
your
ask for a
questions to the
motion to
attorney so the attorney
adjourn.
can refer to
I
you.
will.
I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
You got a whole line back there.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say thank each and every one of you all, trustees, mayor, clerk, chief of police. Chief of police, I have a question to ask you. In the city of Chicago, the police department works with the Boy Scouts, and the program that they have is called the Police Explorers. Have you or anyone in your department reached out to the Chicago Police in regards to that program? Because that program works, what they do, they get young men and women to be interested in the program so that in case they're interested in going to law enforcement, they'll have a leg up. It's very successful. I was a member of the Boy Scouts Police Explorer from the 25th Police District in the city of Chicago. And I know just how well that program works. Perhaps that's something you might want to look into so that some of these young folks, instead of hanging out on the corner, they might want to, look into that. Also, housing. There's no doubt about it that the residents of Dolton and other folks who are looking for quality housing needs assistance in doing that. A program was shot down that I think that should have been looked at better. Trustee Henyard had a program. Hear me out. She asked all of the trustees and anyone else, if you have a better way, come talk to her, let's work it out. Okay, that's been shot down. We have new trustees. So I'm asking, new trustees, do you have any thoughts on proper, adequate housing for those in the Village of Dolton? Her program that I like, that you have a child here, you want to kick them out, so to speak, there's a house there for them. Everyone here knows someone is looking for a place to live at. Everybody. So maybe someone can, you know, bring that back up. How much time do I have left? Because I have one more question.
15 seconds, sir.
Oh, 15 seconds, that's enough time? It is. Mayor, one question. Any of your statements that you have made or decisions to run the board like you want to, have any of them been what
So
people
your
would
time is up.
consider
We've reached the
illegal?
3-minute mark.
I'm done. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees. You know what? I'm a little disappointed, but what does that matter? We say that we're knocking down the new trustees. I want you guys to know that I'm not knocking either of you down, but I will ask questions. You want me to believe what you have to say in representing me or us. So I think that we're giving all of you a chance to show that you are here to represent the citizens in the Village of Dolton and our best interests. So if you're sitting here in those seats and you took those positions and you're now taking it personal, shame on you. Because a political seat is not to be taken personal. You take the good, the bad, and the ugly. The mayor made a statement about Mr. Creighton running for the school board and why he didn't get elected again, made reference to it. You made that statement and it was out of order. It didn't have anything to do with the context, but the people spoke. So we're asking you to listen to us speaking. Listen to our concerns legitimately, other than feeling like whatever the mayor says, go. People saying you're rubber stamps. And you know what, when the mayor's first set of people ran, the mayor's second set of people ran, some people felt that way. But I just want you guys to be sincere and honest and listen to the people. Mr. Holmes, I respect you as an activist. I'm still having to learn you as a trustee. And the same thing for Trustee Brown, for Trustee Steve, because you all are new. But please don't think that we're beating up. Our concerns and questions come to you as legitimate concerns and questions. And I have a question for Mary Kay. Mary Kay, for the FOIAs that we have to, that we would like to write out, do those FOIAs have to be done here, or can we take them to Markham?
FOIA may be submitted in writing either by filling out one of our forms, sending a written request, or by email to myself.
So they must start here?
For information from the Village of Dolton, they start
Correct.
with me.
Okay. And my next concern is, Mayor, I'm trying to understand something with the water bill. We pay a refuge on there, right?
It comes on the water bill, yes.
Right, so that monies that we pay for the refuge, does it not go to Homewood Disposal? That's why I'm trying to understand why are we needing a bond and a bond and a bond? I know the attorney
Ma'am, your
said we
time is
do
up.
it.
You have reached the 3-minute mark.
Thank you. Well, the attorney said that we do it every year, but where's that money going?
Can you explain again, John?
I don't want you to explain it, I want it clarified. If we could have it in black and white,
Part of
clarified.
clarifying it is explaining it, Ms. Gray.
I understand that, but I'd like to have it on hard copy so that I know that that money that we're paying on the water bill
Then-
going to the refuge, Homewood Disposal.
Then if you want it on a hard copy, you have to submit it for you.
Why? It's public.
You say you want it on a hard copy?
Why? But it's public.
How you doing?
Trustees, residents, I've got a few things I want to go over here. This is concerning our business environment in the town. I've been a lifetime resident of this town. I've worked in the medical field around here for 45 years. In that time, I've had a lot of contact with businesses and with the residents. And let's see, during that time, within probably the last couple weeks, I have had many businesses contact me concerning a matter. This was a letter that was received by all the businesses in this town. I got a copy of the letter right here. In this letter, it states, also in accordance with the new village ordinance, all businesses will be charged a $100 fee from the Village of Dolton Chamber of Commerce. Enclosed with this letter, you will find a Chamber of Commerce application. Please fill this out and submit it back to the Permits Licensing Department by Friday, May 31st. I'll tell you right now, this could have been done differently, and it should have been done differently. To tell a business that you have to join a non-for-profit organization as a condition for you obtaining a business license in this town rubs people the wrong way.
That's right.
They put on here $100. That $100 means very little to a large business. To a small business, it's a big deal. What they should have done on this, they should have increased the business license and stated that membership is included in the Chamber of Commerce along with this. But this to come out as a product, as a condition for doing business in this town, you have to join our Chamber of Commerce. This really rubs a lot of people, and I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of businesses, and this rubbed them the wrong way. It really hit them the wrong way. It's that $100 doesn't mean anything to them, but it's how it was done, and it should have been done differently. Thank you.
Good evening, residents. To piggyback back off that, Attorney Murphy, can you give legal clarity on how that's legal?
A number of communities have a participation requirement with the Chamber of Commerce that's added on to the business fee.
So, what's the order?
It's a separate bill.
Is that ordinance available online? Okay, which leads to my second thing. Where can we get all the ordinances at? Outside of, sorry, let me clarify my question. Is there a way outside of FOIA and them to access all the ordinance that have been put into, that have been voted upon and signed up until January 1 of 2019?
All the remaining ordinances that have to be updated, there's a new media director or a webmaster, and the stuff that Mary Kay has sent to him, I will make sure that is updated. What we have right now for Mary Kay will be updated tomorrow.
Okay. If there's any way, go ahead.
And
Okay,
there was prior to Mary Kay coming into this position, there was a lot of the ordinances that were in disarray. I'm not sure, and we asked for codification on those ordinances. That has not occurred. Is that correct?
It hasn't been completed because of the 600-plus ordinances since the code was last consolidated. There are many inconsistencies and contradictions because of, as you might imagine, over many, many years that boards such as we've seen in the past have made changes. Some of the changes don't match up. So that's where we're at. But as far as finding a copy of an ordinance or the subject matter that an ordinance may relate to, I can locate that for you. and any amendments to the original code, but as of now, it still remains a work very slowly and frustratingly in process.
Is there any, maybe the attorney can clarify this, is it true, I don't know whether through ordinance or state statute, that all ordinances are supposed to be available at the library?
That I don't know. At one time, our code book was available at the library. I've heard anecdotally from residents that it no longer is. But I can't tell you from my position what the library's responsibility is.
Attorney Murphy, any way you can clear or speak to that?
I don't think there's any legal requirement. The practice is that for many, many years, Dolton and most municipalities subscribe to a codification service. There's a company called Sterling Codifiers. There's a company called MuniCode. You go online for that. Dolton hasn't participated in that in decades. So there's a gap.
So how are the ordinance is getting codified now?
They're being kept track through the diligence of the clerk. We do not belong to a codification service.
Okay.
So what, if you got a Dolton Village code, it's, the one in my office is yellowed, 25 years old, so I gotta call the clerk every time I need to check on status of an ordinance. That's,
Well, again, if you need any help, I'm volunteering my services to help with the codification. Again, if you need me, please. And my last point is the communication with the village. I don't think that a lot of residents say what's going on necessarily bad or negative. It's just that we're asking questions because we don't know. The Cal meeting, it got better, and you and listing all the Class 8s that were on there were good, and having the pictures were great.
We have reached the 3-minute mark, sir.
I just believe that we should be able to have better communication, whether it be through Facebook, email, mail, whatever it is, about what's going on in the village. Not just events, whether it be legislation, ordinances that are coming up on the books, just let us know. I never think the issue is necessarily what's going on, because oftentimes people use us and compare us to what other villages are doing or municipalities are doing. Just talk to us and just let us know. A lot of things we just don't know, and we'll say, okay, I appreciate that information. That's it. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Holmes.
Second.
Okay, roll
That
call.
was trustee
Trustee Steve,
Steve.
roll call.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask for your quiet for one moment, please, while I complete. Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Thank you.